Recession, the silent devourer of your wealth and what to do about it. So, recessionary periods of inflation happen every 10 years. It's a natural plan devised to steal your wealth and keep you dependent on your job a lot longer than what you have to. Now, think about it. If everyone was able to afford things and save excess money, most people would retire sooner, which would decimate the workforce and the economy. So, by having these pre-planned corrections, as they call them, right, the country is able to maintain the status quo. Now, this video is for people who are comfortable. Now, if you want to avoid getting uncomfortable, you need to take action now. So more and more, I hear people in my Facebook group talking about like how they used to be super comfortable, but now they're starting to dig more and more into their savings. And the answer is to get a vehicle that grows 4 to 5x whatever the current rate of inflation is. And that's a business. Okay. So let's say if I was noticing, at least for me, right? Anytime that I notice that I spend an extra, we'll say 15 or 20K per year, I can literally calculate the number of clients that I need. And I go to my virtual assistant and say, hey, we need to do this many more clients this year. And then within 6 months, I've made up that additional like spend and I'm back to normal, right? That's control. I didn't necessarily want to be rich when I first got started. I was more focused on having control and having wealth. Control allows unlimited freedom, and wealth allows time. So nowadays, I have the big four. I have control of my income, I have the freedom to travel, the time to spend with loved ones, and the wealth to not only really think about money, but I can really find myself and see, like, who am I in this world? I want that for you. Okay? That's why I make these videos. Now, most people only look to change things when it hurts, okay? Successful people I found look out over the horizon, they see the storm coming, and they get out of Dodge unscathed. If you're comfortable right now, you really only have two choices. The first choice is to let everything be exactly the same. Don't make any changes and just kind of leave your future up to chance, right? Or option two is really buckling down, figuring out a way to go and start your business, being able to start on the side, have it grow and help it like add to your savings, and then be able to make it to a point to where you can run it full time, be in full control of your wealth and your income, and really be able to control your life. Now, that comes down to market timing. So if you manage to catch this trend of starting a virtual accounting or virtual bookkeeping firm before everyone else does, you're able to experience growth that most people never will. I mean, think about it. The reason why this business model works so well is because it's not a new business model. It's just a very hidden business model because most people don't have the current skill set of accounting and bookkeeping. If you really think about it, there are 300 million people in the United States alone. But if you were to do a basic LinkedIn search of people who have the word accounting or accountant inside their LinkedIn profile, you would find there are only 8 million people that are inside of this field. And that includes people who are retired. Also, there are 1 million CPAs inside the United States, okay? And that's both the people who are active CPAs and who are inactive CPAs. That's 9 million people total, okay? So what is that? We will do 9 million divided by 30 million. I'm sorry, by 300 million. 9 divided by 300. It's about 3% of the United States even has the base level skill set to even compete with you. And out of that 9 million people, there are only 54,000 CPA firms and 344,000 bookkeeping firms. That means that out of the 3%, that's the 9 million total accountants and CPAs in the United States, less than 5% of those people actually have started their own business. So it's very, very low competition. The reason why you might be asking, like, well, why don't more people start it? Okay, there's two main reasons. Number one is comfort. Number two is fear. Okay. Our accounting field jobs are generally like they tend to keep us very comfortable, right? It's usually a consistent grind and very cyclical inside of the grind, right? Where the hardest times are generally, month end, right? But oftentimes it's like, you have like 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks of like comfort, really a hard week or hard quarter end, year end, etc. Right. And it kind of causes you to kind of get into this like lull into this pattern or this like rhythm, right? Now, the enemy of progress is comfort. The second thing that most people face is fear. Okay. It's fear of what happens if it doesn't work out? Or even worse, what happens if it does work out? Like, what will that mean for my life? I have to make a lot of change, right? You see how fear and comfort is very linked because you're really having the fear of breaking that comfort because of change. And fear is the thief of joy. Both of these agents really steal our ability to live life on our own terms. So, how to really solve these kind of real life challenges? Now, for me, I was forced to start my business, right? I really wanted to help support my parents. Now, a few years before my mom was set to retire, she got laid off. Before then, she was extremely comfortable, right? She did everything right, but she started facing ageism towards like the end of her career, and she was unable to get a job after she was laid off, right? She went from having about 150 to like 200-ish thousand dollars liquid in the bank, not in her retirement account, just in the bank, right? And then in less than 2 years, that had dwindled down to about $10,000 after trying to switch jobs and just doing this, just like having your life expenses, right? I had no other choice but to start, right? Because I really wanted to help. I had my bills to cover, then also I had her bills, and it was just like, oh my goodness, that's a lot. And I just couldn't really support it. And I was like, really, I needed something different to do in order to really support both of our families, right? So I had to learn to take extreme responsibility. Like it wasn't fair that it was happening, but it was happening. So I had to step up, right? I had to figure all this stuff out. Now, blessedly, I was able to cut down my learning curve. So over an 8 month period, I used every single dollar that wasn't going towards like supporting myself and helping out, my mom, my dad. And I put everything that was extra towards buying courses. So like in the first that 8 month period, I literally spent like 35,600. It was like 35,600 like some change on like courses, masterminds, consultants, really anything I could get my hands onto in order to like figure this thing out because I had no other choice. Now, why did I spend 35K? Some like I was talking to someone like they're like, you spent a lot of money when you started, man. Like that's a lot. I was like, yeah, but back in 2015, when I started, there weren't any of these like others like all-in-one solutions. Like we offer like a mentorship program. We like walk you through all different aspects of starting your business. But back then there wasn't that. It was like how to start a tax firm, how to get a job as a bookkeeper, or it was like, it was like college courses like learn bookkeeping. Like there wasn't that many options. So I had to like buy like courses on like sales, like persuasion. I had to learn about like pricing stuff, negotiation, marketing. So I had to buy a bunch of random like different programs and like piece them all together to kind of find like what my success path was. But it did pay off. In total, it took me about 14 months to go from zero to about $15,000 per month in sales for like bookkeeping and CFO services. Now, I often attribute my success towards taking action, right? I took so much action that it would be statistically improbable for me not to succeed, right? Whereas years later, I kind of found this story from a university. It was a fairly well-known university, but there was basically a pottery class. Now, the pottery class split their students into two groups for a competition. Now, Group A had three chances to make the best pottery bowl in the class by the end of the semester. Group B had to make as many bowls as possible by the end of the semester. Now, by the end of the semester, the first group had only made two bowls because it took so long procrastinating and trying to get the first one perfect that they like spent like 75% of the semester planning and thinking of things and like making draft or draft or draft to make the first one. They never even got to the third. Versus Group B, by the end of the semester, they had made about 200 bowls. And the quality of their bowls on average was actually superior to Group A. Now, the reason was because of speed of iteration and speed of improvement. Because they were taking action so much more than their competition, they were able to make pieces way faster and they had less pressure to make each one. Since there was less pressure, they were free to be creative. So if they messed up, it didn't matter. They could just throw it away and just go get the next one. Go get the next one. They could keep moving faster. And every single time they failed or did a micro failure, rather than be like a macro, like huge failure that was like a end all be all, they could take small failures over time until they started reaching their goals and started becoming more and more successful. Now, this is you can apply this to like a greater aspect of life. Most people who don't really have control or are not really successful, they take a long time to act and try things out, right? Successful people move very quickly. They try a lot of different things and they allow their actions to lead them towards a certain goal. Kind of goes back to what I said, like successful people will look over the horizon, they will see the storm coming, and they will try a car, a helicopter, a plane, a hot air balloon, whatever they got to do to get out of Dodge as fast as possible. So when the storm is actually upon them, they're already moving away. Now, in order for you to do this, right, how are you able to start like, making and taking baby steps for yourself so that you can start moving towards having this freedom, this control? Okay. I call it the minimal viable business. Now, there are three keys to having a minimum viable business. Now, all that means is like just what is the least amount of setup, preparation, energy, and funding that you need to get your business started so that now you can start making money. Now you can start getting in. Now you can start having clients working with you, right? So now your business can start moving. So you're eliminating as much of the opportunity to fail as possible. So there are three key skill sets to make this business work. And if you have the three skill sets, you can reach six figures within like anywhere from like 12 to 24 months inside of this business. Now, number one is doing the client work. Now, this is generally a prerequisite. If you don't know how to do that, like we can talk about like different ways we help you like learn accounting and bookkeeping. That's number one. Okay. As long as you can do the client work, you're generally good. Now, most people put a lot of emphasis on the client work and like they do that and that's good, but that's not really the thing that makes the business work, right? That just means that once you get a client, you can do it. But there's a lot of different ways to get around that. Like you can subcontract it out to someone else, you can hire a staff accountant, you can be a middleman. There's a lot of different ways you can make money without necessarily having to be an expert at doing the actual service itself. The second most important thing is going to be your pricing. Okay. So pricing is important because pricing really determines the speed with which you reach a financial goal, the ease it is to actually run and maintain the business, as well as your ability to be able to build confidence. Now, when I say like number one, it's about how easy it is to kind of like grow the business. If you don't need a million clients because you only take three and each client is worth like 3,000 a month, okay, you're already at a six-figure run rate right there. You're at 9,000 a month. All you gotta do is just maintain that for 12 months, and you're automatically gonna hit about $100,000 for that year, right? The next thing is it talks about how fast it is to reach your goal. Because again, like most people can get three clients within 3 months. Most people, right? When your price is very, very low, you have to get, 10, 20, 30 clients to be able to go and like hit like, six figures in your business. Now, it's very hard for most people to get 20 clients in their first month in business. It's much more likely to get like one, two, or three. So you might as well go and focus on like pricing out like the better quality clients that when you do get that three clients in like the first like 60 days, you're actually at a really significant revenue goal. Now, appropriate price range for this service generally between $500 to $5,000 per month per client. And yes, you can charge more, but for the average person who's just getting started and has maybe never sold something that's high ticket like that, that's kind of a really, really simple range for you to kind of go into. Now, when it comes to pricing, one challenge that most people are going to face is that they listen to people that are non-buyers. So sometimes what happens is I might give someone like a way to kind of increase their price, but as soon as they start going to the market, they're talking maybe some leads that maybe aren't that great or just like random friends and family. And then people say, that's too high. You can't charge that. And it causes you to kind of lose that confidence in like what you know is right. And you start thinking, well, maybe it's too high. Maybe I can't charge that much money. Only make business decisions based on people that are taking action inside of your business or people that are serious. Do not take advice from people that tell you no. Okay. And the reason why is because they were never going to buy. Even if you had a price for $1 a month, they probably still wouldn't buy because maybe they're just not in market. They're not the right size business. They don't understand. There's a lot of different factors that kind of go into that. Right. So we always make sure that we're focused on like the right set of people, which actually brings us to sales and marketing. Now, sales and marketing are actually two separate functions. Most people think they're one, but really it's two separate functions. Okay. Sales is really the ability to communicate the value of why your pricing is reasonable and how you're going to be able to help the person to really get an ROI on that help that you just charged the money for. Now, sales is important because if you're not very good at sales, you're not going to be able to get the prices that you're looking to charge for your work because people are going to be haggling with you. They're going to be like saying they need to think about it. You just it's going to be really hard for you to actually make any kind of progress inside of your business. Now, another reason why sales is important is because it's going to speed up your ability to go and hit your revenue goal. Let's say that you have 5 leads in the first month. If you're bad at sales and you close 0 out of 5, okay, it might take you another month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months before you even get your first client. Versus if you're good at sales, if you have 5 calls, you can close 3 out of those 5 calls. And remember, we talked about it only takes about like it doesn't take that much to go and reach 6 figures. Like if you're priced at $5 a month, that's about 20 clients, right? To go and hit 10K per month. If you're at 5,000, it only takes you 2, right? So that can be the difference. These 3 sales can be the difference between you hitting 10K per month in 30 days, or you taking forever to go and get your first client because you're just not good at sales. So I'll talk about how we help you improve sales in a couple minutes, but that's why it's very, very important, right? Some challenges when it comes to sales is not understanding how to really control your mindset. So oftentimes what happens is most people are actually a mirror into who they're trying to sell. So for example, I used to be very, very, very cheap, right? So that whenever I go to a business owner who was also cheap and they'd say, "Oh, yeah, I don't really want to spend that much money," I did not have a strong mental argument to kind of say why they shouldn't be cheap because I thought I was cheap too. So it's like, "Oh, that makes sense." And it always caused me not to be able to close those kind of people. The same thing where it's like, I used to be very, very, very indecisive, right? So whenever someone would say, "Oh, I want to think about it," or, "Oh, I don't really know," I wouldn't have a really good framework to kind of think of to help them make a better quality decision because I wasn't used to making those decisions myself. So I didn't actually know what it took to overcome my think about it or stalling types objections. But once I started really changing my personality into, okay, I'm not a person that likes to do things myself. I want to get help because I want to do it right the first time. That allowed me to be able to start talking to business owners differently and explaining why it's important for them to get help a lot differently, a lot more effectively. And then they started wanting to work with me, right? So really the main challenge with sales is all the stuff that's in here that might be holding you back from long-term success, right? Now the stuff you have in your mind might have helped you get corporate success, right? But if you're trying to get business success and really create that future and that financial stability and that financial control, you have to have a totally different mindset in order to go do that. And sales is like the bridge between your pricing, how you think about the world, and how you can really talk to other people to get them to see your viewpoint of the world as the best one. Next thing is marketing. Okay. So, how is marketing different than sales? Okay. So, again, marketing is really looking at a large population of people and filtering down that population into a small sample where you can then qualify to see if they actually would be a good fit for you to even take a consultation call with. Now, marketing is good and it's very, very key as well because if you don't filter correctly, you're going to take a lot of sales calls, people who are not really interested in working with you, which will then cause you to want to drive down your price because you're getting a lot of people saying no. So everything is like intimately related, right? The better we get at marketing means the better quality of people that come on the call will be. The better quality of the people on our consultation call, the more we can charge because they need better quality businesses that have greater needs, understand why they need our help, and they respect us a lot more. So it all starts with pricing, then goes to sales, then goes to marketing. And then once you have those 3 down, now you go boom, and you go up to the top level. Okay. Now, challenges with marketing, if you don't know how to filter people correctly, again, it just everything wastes your time a lot more. And it makes it very, very hard for you to be able to go and get like the results that you're looking for. So I want to help you. Like just being quite frank, right? And this is it's a simple business model, but it is hard because there's so many different skill sets that you have to just like hone to a certain degree to get that minimum viable business, right? So my offer to help you is we have a mentorship program that's designed to help you start and grow your phases. Now there's three main phases in how we do this. So number one, if you don't know how to do bookkeeping, or if you need a refresher because maybe you do accounting, you just haven't done bookkeeping in a while, we will sit down with you and teach you the 12 main areas of accounting, bookkeeping, and a lot of the different like major accounting software like QuickBooks, Xero, or NetSuite. We also teach you how to communicate the value that you bring so that your potential clients feel very confident about working with you, even if your business is new. Then I'm going to show you how to look at the client's books and know exactly how you can charge from $500 to $5,000 per month per client using calculator tools to make sure you're always getting paid exactly what you're worth. And then after that, I'm going to give you a personalized sales script where we give you a personalized way of communicating with the client that's based on your personality. So you know exactly what you need to be saying in order to get people to want to pay you a high price point for your service. And then we give you the marketing blueprint to use the internet to give you clients. So you don't have to like waste your time doing marketing that doesn't really work. It doesn't really bring any clients. Because again, we don't want to waste any time. We're already working a job. We don't have time to waste. And then finally, once your business is growing, we show you how to add in automation with marketing and with bookkeeping work so you can still have time to like the things that you enjoy, like spending with your family, maybe going on vacation, maybe you just like sitting and like meditating during the day in like nature, right? Whatever that might be for you, we want to make sure you have enough time built into your schedule. And then when you are ready, if you want to keep growing, we show you how to build your team without necessarily having to destroy your profit margins. And if you don't want to get a team, you can just maintain that same revenue level because it's not taking much of your time because things have been automated at that point. Now, if you want help with this, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below the video, book a call with myself to see if I can help you inside of our program. Like I can't help everybody, right? I am looking for the right person because the right, they want to succeed. They're willing to put in the work. They're tired of things just being comfortable. They want to get above comfort. They want to be free. If that's you, click the link inside the description. Now, the raw truth about this is that this is a general overview, right? What I just told you about, like our mentorship program, is a general overview. There is significant customization involved depending on where you're starting out. Like, where are you starting? Have you ever ran a business before? What's your background? Do you know how to do accounting and bookkeeping? If not, here's kind of the path we have to take you down in order to see, like, hey, this is kind of the results we're thinking we're going to get. This is the time frame we think it's going to take for you to get that. If that resonates with you, and if you think that's a good fit, then we can work together. If not, you're at least going to be able to have a very clear blueprint into what it actually takes to go and be successful inside of this business. Now, why is this the most important thing you can do? This is very, very important because the raw truth is that the world is designed to keep you thinking that you're staying the same. But if you know anything about nature, you know you're either growing or shrinking. It's impossible to stay the same. Think about your loved ones. I mean, just think about your grandchildren's children, right? What kind of life would they live if you made the decision to act now? If you overcame the fear and the doubt, if you took control of your life, like where would they be? That's one thing I oftentimes like used to think about a lot. Is like, like I was like, is this it? Like I have enough just for me. I th- I used to have a pastor who said, just have just enough for us four and no more. Right? And it's just like, it doesn't take that long to find success in business. You just have to go put in the work and just put yourself out there. There's no way that you can fail if you don't quit, but you got to get started. If that's you, if you're really ready to grow and advance in this life, click the link, book the call, and I'll see you there. Have a good rest of your day. Take it easy.